just hit my memo, and then I just hide it and keep it right there.
You are being recorded.
Did you just copy that?
Testing. So basically what we're trying to do today is we have a number of requests that have come in from, 3 specifically, from Brazil, that have been along the lines of allowing users to assign copy at the point of booking units, to assign multiple advertisers to a single unit, and the ability to, what was the third one? Do you remember? What was the third?
Kuwait one. There was.
I don't know. Oh, assign units by day instead of by episode or whatever.
Right.
So all of these are related to booking, manually booking units.
Okay.
So what we wanted to do as a starting point was let's get a refresher on how normal orders works, how view episode works, that process, how they're able to book today, so that when we have these conversations with them and understand their process, we at least kind of have that knowledge of how the process
Got
works.
it. So what I'm going to do now is we need a POB to work in. So right now I'm going out to schedule inquiry. I'm going to pull up, just call up some episodes that are within a flight range for Q3, and I'm going to go.
So this isn't something we'd be doing. This is just
No, I'm just grabbing some
some
data.
Yep.
For net 19, yeah. Okay.
Yep. What database are you looking at?
I'm looking. Yeah, I should probably log it at old.
These, any of the ones we're thinking of.
What, for the workflow? No. They may help, but these aren't the ones that I was talking about.
Brazil.
Yep.
That's their business unit, right? That's what
Yeah.
we want. Order entry.
Those are the only ones I could find.
Okay. Let me take a look. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay.
I mean, these will be helpful. Program code. Yeah, not program code. Yes, process flow. Yeah, that'll be the future of what they're going to look like, but that's not what they're doing. Well, yeah, that's not really what they're doing today. Let me take a look. I'm pretty sure it's out there. If it's not, I'll make sure it is. I must have them somewhere.
Okay, here's something that's good. So rather than go through schedule inquiry to pick up a POB just so I can input into my normal orders, basically I'm just starting right out from normal orders and I'm just doing a query by network number.
Okay.
And any orders that are attributed back to that network should populate. And I could scroll through and pick up other order numbers, but we could just start with this one here. I mean, here's something for Peugeot who has a flight in between 8/1 and the end of the month of this year. So basically, like domestic, national orders, they're all tied back to a proposal. We know how the proposal system works. For each proposal, there's certain networks that are attributed to it. This is probably one that is attributed to 19. We can see that it's on its first version here. And at the time of creation, as we walk through between you, Roland, and I, once the planner brings that proposal to hold order status, it'll generate a POB, a unique POB per network and quarter season. I'm sorry, per network and season, or per year, per network and year.
And brand as well, right?
Yep. So here we have our advertiser,
So that's the
Peugeot,
3 criteria: network,
network,
year,
brand.
Those are the 3.
Yep.
Okay.
Later they could input, I don't know if they really deal with this, but they could insert a unique campaign for that order. So if
Yeah.
it were, let's just say Peugeot, and they have this particular brand, a unique campaign could be something particular to that car. You know, it may be, I don't know.
Give your wife a Peugeot for
That's
Christmas.
it. Give away something like that.
Yeah.
Even though I never buy one, or I have enough money to buy one. But
There's,
yeah, something unique. I don't know if it's used widely, even today. A lot we found it was misused a lot of the times to
They're using
substitute brand.
brands a lot.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it'll
So
be like the brand would be Peugeot Christmas.
Yes.
Or Peugeot summer event. Or
yes,
whatever. it
yes,
is.
right.
Instead
So
of using that campaign,
Yes.
having Peugeot,
Right.
whatever car.
it's
it is,
like
that's
it's just
the
like a sub-level 2 brand to differentiate this brand from this brand with a campaign tie-in.
Yep.
So not much is really different from domestic versus international proposals in that it generates a unique order number per brand per season or year.
Now, just for your own information, Antonio, from a Brazil perspective and most of international, and this is starting to change now that they have auto slotting in here, but what they were doing previously was they would not actually enter a proposal into NCS until it was a finalized contract. So there would only be done deals in NCS. Domestically, I believe, that's not the case. They're going to include working proposals inside of NCS as well. So you get kind of a better view as to working pressure, and we've talked about that a little bit before, against an episode. So in a live events coming up, like the World Cup final, for example, and we know that it's 80% filled. So now we know that it's 80% filled, and we have another 10% working pressure against it because the proposal itself, say we have 5 other proposals that include the World Cup as part of it. They're not orders yet. They haven't been moved through to order, but we know that there's at least 5 other proposals that are out there that are including that World Cup game in them. So we know that pressure is high, so we increase the cost of the remaining spots because we know that people really want to get into that event.
Understood.
That's interesting that you said that. So I bet you if I did a query on each of these POBs, everything's going to be on the first version.
Mostly.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So we have a couple options here. Roland asked me to take us through the different touch points in booking units.
Yep.
I think I just exited out of a... Could I launch this? Could I launch another session of this?
Yeah, go to Firefox. Start up in the background.
And the reason why I don't know what selling rotations make up this proposal, because when I go to the next tab, the selection criteria, all this information pre-populates from our proposal. We have our buy bill agencies, the proposal that it's mapped up to, the brand, the flighting, the day parts, and things like that. It's not until when I get to this selection criteria, it's going to ask me for information, because anything that I enter here, all the criteria that I enter within this screen, it's going to build they're going to use it as, the system's going to use it as building blocks to go out and find the qualifying episodes that match the selling rotation, whether it's an original or a repeat, and apply the cost, whatever cost is attributed to that selling rotation and proposal.
Okay.
So users don't have to go out to normal orders. They just go right to selection criteria from within a proposal.
Their starting point is normal orders, because in order to book a unit or units,
I
right?
thought we were looking at the proposal.
You have to get the order number, right? I mean, yeah. The starting point is give me the order, then punch in the criteria for the system to go out and get those qualifying episodes.
This is the normal order.
This is
I'm sorry,
normal order
I thought this
screen.
was the proposal screen.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
I've noticed that just some windows, some of the pop-up windows are completely different in look and feel
Mm.
than the background windows.
I mean, there's some points when you're creating a proposal for the first time, it just throws messages after message after like form messages. And I said to Tracy, I said it's nothing but clicking OK and just hearing bells in the background like 5 times in a row to get to a certain feel. I'm like, it's crazy.
So what you get when you get a system that has been built from very minimal to huge, and you don't have a lot of product overview as to what's being done.
It's so layered.
UX kind of stuff.
Just
It's
layer
keep adding,
upon
just
layer
keep
upon
layering.
layer.
And that's the way. It's like painting over the same fucking wall.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. All right. So.
The jury will disregard the last comment.
Would the jury please strike the last comment from the record?
So this getting back. This is our proposal screen. These are all the selling rotations that we've chosen to be part of summary or captured within summary, and these are the number of units that we're requesting.
So
for
there's
the
one
specific
selling rotation
rotation.
that's been requested here
Yeah.
for this proposal.
For this proposal. Doesn't look like there's any kind of exclusivity that's associated, nor cherry picks or anything like that. It's any time that there's an instance of that episode mapped to that selling or being valid for that selling rotation, that's going to be called into our normal orders whenever we queue in. So this is what I'm honing in on, the selling rotation 6257.
So
which
this
is
is third
ROS.
quarter 2014.
Yep.
Because August 1st through 31st was the
Yep.
okay.
Right.
Now on the far right there, it has rate percent of the rate card.
Yeah.
Is that automatically populated?
That's
based on the
automatically
selling
populated,
rotation?
but I could, if this were working status,
Yep.
I could manipulate the numbers.
So it pulls in whatever cost is based on the estimated CPM for this particular
Yes.
selling rotation,
Yes,
and it determines a cost for.
whatever demo.
Is this per unit?
This is per unit.
Okay.
This is per unit, per grand total of 13. That's the net.
Now, when it says percent of rate card up the top, what does that do?
Where are we here?
Yeah, right there, 0% of rate card. I'm
You know,
assuming that means like flat value, whatever
I
rate card
think
says. Is that
I
like
don't know.
discounting maybe?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think they either discount it like 5.
Make it like 5% of
5%,
rate card or whatever,
yeah.
which would drop it like
Yeah.
$20 or something per unit.
But it won't allow me to do it here, but I can go in, as I'm building this proposal.
Yep.
If it's a client that comes on with us every year,
Yep.
like Anheuser-Busch, whatever,
Yep.
they buy into particular marquee events, we may give them a good discount. But this is the per unit rate. This is our selling rotation. So when this goes to hold order status, just like Blaze, it'll go out and take a look at all the available. Looks like within their flight. I think this takes into consideration how many units within based on the flighting.
Based on the selling rotation and the flight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says, okay, from 8/1 to 8/31, there's a total of 103 episodes. I'm going to book a total of 30. However, they want to spread that out across the month of August. I guess they do a fair and equal rotation. Right now, it's currently set up.
So you're saying I'm going to pick 30 out of 103?
Yeah.
Because it's
Okay.
requested
Right.
equals 30?
Requested is 30. This is the per unit rate. This is just giving me the number of episodes that exist within this particular advertiser's flighting within the month of August. As 103 possible options, we're only going to give them 30.
Yeah.
We may double up in one episode.
So when you
who
say
knows?
distribute, means you evenly distribute those 30
Yep.
across the 103 in equal
Yeah.
intervals?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to drop all 30 in the first one.
Either the beginning or the end?
Right.
or-
Right. We're
Now,
going to try to.
normally, the Blaze slotting engine, the auto slotting, would do that for them, but they're not using auto slotting, so they have to manually choose those episodes that they want to book into, and that's what Mark's going to get to in a minute. It's
Yep.
just how they would go about doing that through the normal orders review episode
Right.
screens.
Okay.
So I guess we got a couple days now that we're into the month of August, so we're 3 days in. So I'm not sure how many episodes. I could do some groundwork and see how many of the 103, how many actually fall outside of the window now that we won't be considering. But when I go into normal orders, my expectation is to see about 100 plus episodes, or maybe even scotch less, of possible episodes I could book into. Now I want to see those shows with or without avails, and I'll take you through how I kind of prune back when I enter my criteria into that selection criteria screen. But the thing is, I wanted to know is what's my selling rotation for the POB that I want to book for through normal orders. So, and let's get to that. Okay, so we start within normal orders, order entry, normal order screen. The first piece of information it's going to ask us for is our order number.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 519530.
What did you miss?
No.
Oh.
I was trying to correlate his finger to the screen.
Got it. Yeah, that doesn't come up there, does it?
It's right here.
So the first thing we do is we enter in our POB, or order number.
And now there could be multiple orders per proposal,
Right.
right? So remember we talked about before, you could have an order on each of the individual network. So if they're buying 19, 20, and 199, you would potentially have 3 different orders created from that single
Right.
proposal. If they have multiple brands inside that proposal, it would create a different order for each. Or if they span years, they would have a different order for each year.
And let's assume they go for 3 networks. Those 3 networks would be displayed in the second screen with a selling rotation.
Yeah, it would be
Yes.
broken out by network, and then selling rotation within network.
Okay.
Because each selling rotation is specific to a network. So if you have ESPN SportsCenter Primetime, that's a selling rotation that you want to buy into, but you want to buy it on 1920 and 199. It's a different selling rotation on each network.
Yep.
So, and I think it's just because everything's very network driven
Mhm.
right
Right.
now, and that's why they're doing it that way. But that would be 3 different selling rotations and 3 different orders. I mean, the rate is probably different too, because 19 is like an ESPN 1, 199 is like ESPN 2,
2.
which is kind of a step down. So the rate might be different.
Slightly
between
different,
them.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we were to take a look at this proposal, let's just say there were other channels that are associated with this one proposal, there were other POBs, we would see them here. I mean, obviously, there's just one order, one generate brand mapped up to this particular proposal, but let's just say it was multi-network where it was 19, 199, so on and so forth. We would see like 519531 for 199.
So I see.
Five one-
Each
5195,
order number
right,
is specific
each
to the network.
to the network.
Yep, yep, yep.
And you'll have a unique POB then created for each year that's introduced. So you'll have your own, like, let's just say this
Order
was
number
for
and POB are the same
2014.
thing.
Yeah. This is for 2014. If this was a multi-year deal where it spanned 2014 and 15, and there was only one network associated to it, we'd have another line here with 519530, same network, but a different POB to differentiate 2014 from the 2015 deal.
And I would guess that year would be different at the end.
Yes, right. Everything would be the same with exception to the POB and then the year.
So
And if
this
there
is
were
really
more,
where you would come, and this is one of the screens that Gisela is going to give Brazil an overview.
I think that's excellent.
Of deal maintenance, because they're not very aware of what this screen does or can provide
This
them.
thing, let me tell you, when I was a user for 10 years, you don't have the paper proposal in front of you all the time, and you can't really track, where your TBD or where you may be over or under for certain selling rotations. This is at your disposal, at your fingertips. Where if I enter in my POB, and if I want to see how I'm progressing for a particular quarter, I could just type in, okay, let's see what I propose for this particular network for third quarter, and it's going to give it to you right here. As soon as I click in the proposal, this is the number of selling rotations I have. This is the number of per selling rotation that I'm requesting. Where are we? Here. This is my booked, and this is my remaining TBD. So you're always going to get that picture. I mean, we do this a lot with domestic, with programming changes. Something gets
Yeah, it
canceled,
seems
something
like a
gets
one-stop
TBD.
shop of like, here's what you
This is where it
requested,
is.
Here's what's
This is
out.
where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about pulling TBD reports and, underbooked, overbooked. I mean, this is right at their disposal. You come in here, all you got to do is enter a POB or a proposal, and you can track to see how you're delivering on this plan.
And this is inventory management.
This is inventory management.
Deal maintenance.
Deal maintenance module and then inventory management. Sorry. Vice versa. I mean, it only requested 30, and at a glance, I know if I were to click into my details screen, I could see which exact episodes I have units booked in. It's going to give me all the episode information as far as like the show code, the airing number, the duration of the episode, when that airs, things like that. However many units we have booked into that particular episode. But let's just say they requested 30, we have nothing booked. Okay? Now comes the arduous manual task of them having to go in and manually book 30 individual units into episodes one by one by one.
So is that what this is saying? The 30/0, 30 requested, 0 booked?
No, this is requested. It says 30 requested of the 30, 30 are booked.
Oh, so they're all